people, and they just kind of look at me like I'm crazy.
Maybe they want you to stay longer.
Yeah, that's it.
That'd be great.
Dave,
But,
was she American? An American aunt?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Huh. Do you use that, Martin? To say goodbye?
No. I mean, it seems sort of...
It does seem like the thing a great aunt would say.
Maybe a great aunt from Britain.
Yeah. Do you ever say a
No.
longer form toodaloo?
Well, occasionally she would say toodaloo,
Okay.
but usually we said, the short form, toodles.
So, Dave, none of your friends are picking this up.
No, but my family, well, some of them are.
Oh, they are.
And my boys, who are both in college, will often, when they're leaving, will say, "Okay, toodles."
And are
other people just roll their eyes at me.
Are they real big burly guys? I mean, I think it's
pretty much so.
Oh, okay, even better. That's even better.
Yeah, because it's marked. When I hear it, I think of it as being mainly a feminine use.
Yeah, or maybe
and old-fashioned
Catherine Milk Toast or somebody. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I'm going to have to stop using it then.
No! Go for it.
No. Cognitive dissonance is fun.
Yes, you've got to prize those moments when the people around you are befuddled and you are perfectly in your right to say a word. Yes.
Well, that's what makes it so much fun, because
Exactly.
we don't know how to respond sometimes.
So toodles, it's either T-O-T-T-L-E-S or T-O-O-D-L-E-S, is a shortened form of toodaloo with both spellings, and there are a variety of other variations on this as well. And there's three prevailing theories about the origin. The first one we'll dismiss right away because there's no evidence to support it, and that's that it comes from the French for tout à l'heure. See you later. Yeah, at a later hour, basically, is what it means. The second origin is far more likely, and this is that it comes from dialect, an English dialect word toddle, or meaning to walk or to amble or to move at a leisurely pace. And the reason this is more likely is because we have tons of written citations for this throughout the centuries of people using this in leave-taking. That's the jargon we use when we study conversation. Leave-taking is this particular kind of human way that we bid each other adieu. And we're very kind of programmatic about it. You say X, and I say Y, and you say Z, and then we leave. And so toddle off or toddle off, toddle on, we have this particular history, and particularly among the Scots, to use that. So,
like toddler then.
Yeah, like toddler, but it doesn't suggest that you're moving in a childlike way exactly. It just might mean you're going to mosey along.
Yeah.
So that's a really strong theory because we've got written evidence, and we can see the transformation, and we can see the pronunciation change in the variety of spellings that we have. So that's really important when we're studying the history of the word. And then the other one is that it might come from the sound of a car horn. And it's no coincidence that toodaloo starts to appear about the time that the automobile becomes far more common. And you see it appear in writing, and a tootle is a way that the car horn has been represented in print a lot, particularly in the early days when the car horn was exterior and it was this mechanical thing where you pressed the bulb and it made that something like that.
Right.
It's better than ooga.
I like that, yeah. Imagine if that were the word. I'll ooga you later.
Then you'd really get crazy looks.
Yeah.
So it's very appropriate to use it as a departure comment.
Yeah, so it's totally appropriate for you to use it. It's legitimate English. It's got a long history of more than 100 years. You're good to go on it, except
I even use it in my at the end of an email off of Toodles.
It's a little tricky. It's incredibly informal.
Okay, so you're that guy. You're that Toodles guy.
I am.
Okay, all
We're
right.
guilty as charged.
When you're writing a letter to your bank, I don't recommend that as a closing.
I do. It'll get their attention.
It does. It gets everybody's attention. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, we have to say goodbye to you. I'm
Ta-ta for now.
yeah. I'm trembling with anticipation.
Thank you for the information.
Pip pip, Dave. Thanks.
All right. Toodles.
Bye-bye.
That's what I was waiting for. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care now.
877-929-9673. You know what a Christmas fool is?
Me! I don't know. What's a Christmas fool?
It sort of sounds like somebody who overdoes it at the office party, doesn't it?
It's not.
Guy with the lampshade.
Is it a kind of pudding?
No, but that was what I was thinking it was. But it's not that either. Christmas fooling is a Norwegian tradition in Wisconsin, and it's young people going from house to house dressed up in costumes and visiting with people.
Oh.
It's sort of like trick or treat, only sounds nicer.
No thanks.
You get invited in to share food and drink. Christmas fool.
The Christmas fool. And so
Yeah.
they do this in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. Well, I think
Maybe
it's
they used to,
maybe
older
dying
generation,
out.
yeah.
But it's a direct translation of Norwegian. Christmas fool. I like it.
877-929-9673. Email words@waywardradio.org.
Things have come to a pretty pass.
That's all for today's broadcast, but don't wait till next week to chat with us. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, or SoundCloud.
Check out our website too, waywardradio.org, where you'll find a dictionary, a newsletter, a language blog, mobile apps, and a discussion forum. And you can listen to hundreds of episodes of past shows for free.
And you can leave us a message anytime at 877-929-9673. Share your family stories about language or ask us to resolve disputes at work, home, or in school. You can email us too. That address is words@waywardradio.org.
Our production staff includes Stephanie Levine, Tim Felton, and James Ramsey. A Way with Words is independently produced and distributed by Wayward Inc., a nonprofit supported by listeners and organizations who believe in lifelong learning and better human communication. The show is recorded at Studio West in San Diego, California.
Thanks for listening. I'm Martha Burnett.
And I'm Grant Barrett. Adios.
Ciao.
Support for A Way with Words comes from National University, where flexible online classes let you earn your degree or credential on your schedule. More at nu.edu. Hey there, podcast listeners. Just want to let you know that although we give you the show free and we give it free to stations, it does cost something to send these episodes out to hundreds of thousands of listeners across the planet. Help support our educational mission by going to the website and clicking the donate link. $10? A little more? How about as much as you think it's worth? Thanks in any case for helping us keep shopping.
Good evening, listeners, and welcome to this tense match between lager-swilling Big Bill Rubinek and the promising newcomer from Mexico, Filippo Hernandez Rodrigo Acio, or as he's known for short, Phil Acio. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it, Ken? Do you find it hard, Dick? Yes, but hopefully by the end of the tournament, I've got my tongue around it. Big Bill Rubinek appears to be in some discomfort here as he walks back to the table after yet another 5-minute toilet break. And it looks like he's still got a bit of a job on his hands. The referee's just wiping the brown off with his gloves, and now carefully places it on the table. He takes another gulp of lager, though, and appears to be going for this awkward shot. But there's a worried look on his face. And there's the reason why. Poor old Bill's followed through.
From London, we present Many a Slip. And here's your chairman, Roy Plumley. How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? The teams. On my right, the ladies, Isabel Barnett and Eleanor Summerfield. On my left, the gentlemen, Richard Murdoch and David Nixon. I read out some pieces with mistakes in them, and we hear which of the two teams is quicker at spotting them. The first team member to spot a mistake presses a button. If it's a member of the ladies' team, you'll hear this. If it's a gentleman, you'll hear this. Scoring when we come to it. The chairman's decision is final even when he's wrong, and here's the first piece. Pomfret, the many-a-slip mastermind detective, walked swiftly along to the pawnbroker's shop, and under his arm was the old family épée. He wanted to pawn it because he had scratched his face picking it up, and it had raised a nasty weald on his left cheek. David Nixon.
It had raised a what?
A nasty wheal on his left cheek.
I'm sure it was a wheel, wasn't it?
Wheel.
A
Wheel.
bicycle wheel.
That's right. Now, it's 1 mark for spotting a mistake, a 2nd mark for correcting it, and the marks are credited to your team. But if you press a button for a mistake and there isn't one, then you give away 1 or perhaps 2 marks to the opposing team, and the score is being kept for us by Ian Messer. Right, 2 to the gentleman then. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and although it was outside the pawnbroker's, Isabel Barnett.
If you stay at the pawnbrokers at 3 o'clock in the morning, I must admit in a long and checkered career I've never found one open at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure there are licensed hours for pawnbrokers.
How hard have you tried?
It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, although it was outside the pawnbroker's normal hours of business. 2 to the gentleman. Part of Pomfret's haste was also due as well to his fear of the dark. Eleanor Summerfield.
You can't do that. You can't say also as well.
2 marks.
Thank you.
Certainly you can't. To his fear of the dark. It was pitch dark because there were no stars that night. Richard Murdoch.
You said there were no stars,
No stars.
but they're there, even if you can't see them.
2 marks. There were stars that night, but he couldn't see them. And there was no street lighting either. These surroundings helped to emphasize this photophobia. His comfort, Eleanor Summerfield. These surroundings helped to emphasize this photophobia.
No, he didn't have a photophobia about it.
Why not?
Yes, exactly. There you
There
are.
wasn't any light, so he couldn't have had photophobia. He was in the dark.
Yes. So what did he very likely have?
Claustrophobia, I should think. But anyway, he hadn't got photophobia.
Another kind of phobia.
Yes. Well, what does photophobia mean?
It means fear of light.
Fear of light. Yes. Well, he had a fear of dark. Do you know what? You don't know what that means? What the word is?
Not really.
It's scotophobia. You get your 2 marks.
Oh,
His comfort in his distress was small, but he was happy at the thought of the money he had received when he sold the old family appearance to the pawnbroker. David Nixon.
I can't get mine to pay me for anything I take him. I lend it to him, don't I? I can't sell it, can I, to a pawnbroker?
I'd already said he wanted to pawn it, so you get 2 marks. He wasn't going to sell it.
Absolutely.
And he was delighted by the sheer weight of the silver object as it glinted silently under his arm. Isabel Barnett.
how could it glint if there was no light for it to glint in?
This I ask myself 2 marks. Suddenly his reverie was broken, and his anteprandial walk halted by the... Isabel Barnett.
How could he be anteprandialing walking at 3 o'clock in the morning, because if he was a normal man, he'd have had his dinner a bit earlier than that.
Postprandial.
Postprandial.
2 marks. And his walk was halted by the sight of a man about 200 yards away. Isabel Barnett.
Well, if there weren't any stars and there weren't any street lights, he couldn't see him 200 yards away, unless he was wearing a luminous jacket, and I'm sure he wasn't.
He wasn't. Halted by the sight of a man about 200 yards away lighting his pipe. 2 to the gentleman. This was the taxi driver who only that morning Pomfret had seen robbing his taxi meter. Richard Murdoch.
Oh, you don't keep money in a meter. He keeps it in his pocket, and it takes him hours to get at it.
Yes, in his 14th overcoat. 2 to the gentleman. The score is now, the end of that first piece, 14 to the gentleman against 6 to the ladies. Abbreviations. Abbreviations are such a part of literature, it's as well to become familiar with as many as possible. E.g., which means, for example, sometimes gets unnecessarily confused with I.e., which means as was intended. David Nixon.
No, does it?
You tell me.
That it means, that is to say.
It's id es.
It is.
It is. That is. That is. Still, you have your 2 marks. While fig means figure, or in figurative use. QV stands for 2 Latin words meaning, where are you going? Eleanor Summerfield.
It does, doesn't it? Quo vadis, yes it does, doesn't it? But in this case, in literature using QV, it doesn't mean where are you going.
What does it mean?
What do you mean, Isabel?
I've not the least idea.
Well, it doesn't mean where you're going.
1 mark.
Good.
Gentlemen.
Well, it's
Richard
something
Murdoch.
like, it's from the Latin video. I see.
Well, you're jolly lucky because I don't see.
That's my story.
Yes, I'm going to give you a mark because you're nearly there. It means it stands for quod vide, a compromise pronunciation, which see.
Does it?
Yes, so 1 mark to the ladies and 1 to the gentlemen. Right, in measurement, the 2 words square inch are often abbreviated to a single word squinch. David Nixon.
Did you say squinch?
Squinch.
Isn't it squin?
No.
SQ full stop IN full stop?
What does that mean?
Square inch.
What's the matter with squinch?
Squinch? Well, it sounds all wrong.
It is all wrong, 2 marks.
But it's a jolly good bird. I think we ought to use it.
Among other things, WC can stand for without charge and Wellesian chapel. Isabel
I
Bunn.
didn't hear the second one because the audience laughed. Without charge and what?
Without charge and Wellesian chapel.
No, it stands for Wesleyan Chapel.
2 marks. And everyone today seems to know that RNVR. I beg your pardon, who was that? Richard Murdoch.
Are you forgetting Winston Churchill?
There's no room for all. And everyone today seems to know that RNVR stands for Royal Naval Voluntary Reserve. Isabel Bunn.
Volunteer.
2 marks. Some abbreviations have as many as 6 meanings. SA means Salvation Army, South Africa, South America, South Australia, and Sturm Teilungen. David Nixon.
That was only 5. You've forgotten sex appeal.
2 marks.